Okay, I think we will. Uh, okay, I bet we're live. Let me check with my friend.
Oh yeah, I could check on your channel too.
Oh, good. However, where am I?
Yeah, how's it going?
Okay.
Yeah, we're live.
Okay. Oh, good. I see him. I bet we're live. Do you see Roland?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
I went to the right spot. I wouldn't see you. Okay, I don't see you.
Now he sees.
I'm searching. He sees.
I'm seeing it
on YouTube.
Yeah.
Huh. So I'm on my phone, so I don't know if that has anything.
Okay. Well.
You see us on the screen?
I see you. Oh,
that's
is that
YouTube right there?
That's YouTube.
That's us.
Okay. All right.
Now
just
gotta share it.
I can get to it.
Okay. So, Roland, I do see me on Gary's computer, so we are on.
Okay, but not on Facebook, huh?
Not on Facebook. Yeah.
Okay, it's probably on the computer that I can see it.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just first I want to introduce Danny Green. And this is Danny Green. He's really a great player, and it's terrible that this morning started like it did, but it did. So wow, it's already 14 past 12. It's much later than we wanted. But
we're here.
And we're here, and I'll just tell you a little bit of what happened. My computer actually died. And so, yeah, my computer is dead. And I tried my husband's computer, and the connecting things didn't work. And now I'm on my iPad. So we're not on Facebook again for the second day. I'm going to have to really address that today. And we are on YouTube. So I'm going to make a note on Facebook, but in the meantime, Danny's going to share. I think you should share the music, Danny.
Sure. Just
so we're gonna
sharing the event on Facebook too.
Yeah, we're gonna listen. Now, when I heard it before, it was kind of breaking up. I'm not really sure why, but let's see what happens now. And Danny's a wonderful pianist, and if I had all my stuff easily attainable, I would list it, which I still might be able to do. But wonderful pianist, and he's even though he's young, he's been playing fabulously for a long time.
Thank you. All right, here we go. Ready to connect.
Danny's a wonderful pianist, and if I had all my stuff easily attainable, I would list it, which I still might be able to do. But wonderful pianist, and he's even though he's young.
Cathy, I think we're hearing your YouTube right now
for a long time. Yeah, let me go see that.
Here we go.
Yes, okay. I got out of YouTube, so.
Okay, here we go.
Wonderful pianist, and if I had all my stuff easily attainable, I would list it, which I still might be able to do. Wonderful pianist, and he's even though he's young.
Cathy, I think we're hearing your YouTube right now.
For a long time. Yeah, let me go see that.
Here we go.
I think you might have some mute sound up on your side out of YouTube. So
okay, here we go. Okay, so sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay, last time. Let's see. Let me share the screen again. I think this time, third time's a charm.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
baby, that was a
beautiful.
good take.
All right.
Oh gosh. Wow. Let's see. I'm still a little kerflunked. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm going to be
I think
answering.
it's working out okay. I think the video is a little slow on my shared screen. I don't know if you can share your screen and get the sound working. Maybe we'll try that again.
Get
You
the
might have
what
a
working? I'm sorry, get the what working?
the sound working next time. Maybe you could try to share the screen because I think my upload speed is horrible here.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. I do know that sometimes the music, when you're playing it, you have to bring the volume down of the music to about 3/4. So because it can, but speed is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Well,
anyway,
I'm just I'm really a little bit scattered here, but of course my Gemini nature makes that somewhat okay. But anyway, I am a little scattered, and I sincerely apologize. But I hope the rest of the conversation goes fine.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Well, we do have a bunch of people here, so that's quite nice. Taylor Hatch is here.
Hey,
I don't know if you know
Taylor.
Yeah, and he said "Time Lapse to Fall," one of my favorite tracks.
Awesome.
Yeah, and oh, hi, Eilette Rose Gottlieb. She's a wonderful singer from the East Coast. You would like her a lot. She's very adventurous, wonderful singer. Cool. And let's see. Hands down, One Day It Will is my favorite Danny Green record. That's Taylor.
Thank you.
And Joyce Glasgow is just acknowledging Origin Records.
Yeah, Origin's super, super awesome record label.
Is this the first one that you've had with them, or?
No, let's see. My first one was called After the Calm. I released that one in 2014. And then I did one called Altered Narratives in 2016. Then this one Day It Will, in 2018. And then I have another group with vocalist Leonard Patton. We call the group LP and the Vinyl. And
cool.
we have a CD that's also out on Origin. So I guess I got 4 now.
Very nice. Wow, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
nice to know. I almost went with Origin on one of my recordings, but for some reason, I think he was super busy, and I wanted to go out kind of faster. So it just didn't work like that, But let's see, just looking around for a good shot. But yeah, so your resume is just so good. It's just it's really, you can't say stuff like that in a resume unless it's true. So, it's just, you're not going to see that unless it's really, wonderful. So it says that you have earned a recognition as a band leader and a composer. This is beautiful, with a gift for spinning supple, absorbing narratives. How beautiful is that? Your growing portfolio of vibrant sounds, an enchanting mix of jazz, classical, and Brazilian, has captured the attention of critics around the world, including DownBeat, Jazziz, San Diego Union Tribune, the Boston Globe, and Public Radio International. So let's just start with that. I mean, that's actually quite an accomplishment. And when was your first record? When did it come out?
Oh man, well, the very, very first one I've kind of buried under the rug. That came out in 2006. And
why did you bury it? You didn't like it, or just because it's like so long ago?
Yeah, just long ago, totally different thing. So it lives in my garage right now. There's a bunch of them that have been sitting there.
They can say hi to mine too, man.
Yeah.
I have thousands. I don't know how many I have in my garage.
But I think 2008 or 2009 was when I put my first project under my name, and it was mostly trio. We had a percussionist as well, so it was like kind of trio quartet, and Trip Sprague actually played saxophone on 2 songs on that one. That one was called With You in Mind.
Uh-huh.
And then that was with a different drummer that's not with me anymore. He moved out of town. And then I connected with Julien Cantelm like a couple years later,
Yeah.
and we released our first album, like, with the trio. And that project actually had the trio, so Justin Grinnell on bass, Julien Cantelm on drums.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then we had a number of special guests. We had Trip Sprague again on sax, Peter Sprague on guitar. We had Chico Pinheiro on one song, and
Nice.
Claudia Vilela on a
Oh,
song.
that's good.
Both of them
Yeah.
together. Yeah, really awesome having them. Eva Scow from Fresno played mandolin on several songs, and guitarist named Dusty Bruff also. So it was kind of a big collaborative work. That was called
Huh.
A Thousand Ways Home. That was in 2012. And after that, I decided to go just only trio in 2014. Keep it simple, lower budget.
Right. Yeah. Well, you got some really great publications to review you.
Well, that's a lot of it's thanks to mainly Anne Braithwaite, who's a publicist out in
Yeah.
Boston. Yeah,
No,
I've been
but
working with her on a bunch of my releases, and she just has done such a wonderful job getting my music out there
wow,
in
cool.
the hands of these people. Of course,
Yeah.
like Origin Records also gets the music out, and I've also done a lot of radio campaigns, both with Neil Sapper out of New World in Jazz,
I know him.
and
Yeah.
then Groove Marketing is another one that radio promoter that I've worked with, and both of them have done a wonderful job too. So
Yeah.
takes a whole
Yeah.
village.
It does take a village. I've met all those people actually.
Oh,
Last
cool.
year, let's see. Well, I've been to the Jazz Congress,
Mhm.
which is mostly for that's for reviewers, and then there's
I went to that one a couple, maybe like 3 or 4 times before it was called Jazz Congress. It was Jazz
Yeah.
Connect, and I think it was
Yeah.
something before that too.
Yeah, I think
But
so too.
yeah, that was fun.
And then
Cold.
there's the other one that I won't remember the name. Whoops, I won't remember the name of that one, but there's one in San Jose.
Oh yeah, the radio. I
Yeah.
went to that one year.
And that's interesting too. It's a lot smaller
Jazz Week.
too.
The Jazz
Yeah,
Week.
jazz. Yeah. Though I really like going to those. They are reminiscent of the IAJE
Mhm.
conventions, and what could be bad about meeting reviewers and radio people? Nothing. And you get to hang and become friends, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So many of them are. I've met a lot of them now, and a lot of them had played my stuff before, and so it was good to put the face to the name and get
Yeah.
to know them. And they're just such a nice bunch of people, super
I know.
supportive, and they're there because they love doing that.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting how when it's not only, okay, let's see if I can put this into words. It's not only age and experience, but it's also, I think, a personality kind of a thing that there's either the camp that is kind of afraid to talk to those people, or kind of in their mind assigns a negative, like a kind of oh well, they're blah blah blah, and then there's the other camp that's just like, oh wow, yeah, they're really nice. It's just meeting them, and becoming a friend,
Mm-hmm.
and you would become a friend anyway, regardless. And then the fact that they happen to do that stuff is advantageous. But of course, the fact that you're a musician is advantageous to them as well, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I think one of the challenges is just kind of getting their attention because they get inundated every week
Oh,
with like 30, 50 CDs, and so
at
just
least. Yeah.
really kind of takes getting to know them or like putting stuff out year after year, um, and just to make that connection. So I think for some people who haven't done that or haven't worked with radio promoters, it's easy to feel kind of rejected by the radio community if you're not, you send them something and you don't get a response. And a lot of times, I mean, it's not because the music's not good, it's just because they get so many CDs every week.
I know, right? It's totally true. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. In fact, I was talking with Suzanne Pitson yesterday, who's a singer in New York and a teacher. And she's very smart and she's very nice, extremely humble, nice to talk with. And we were talking about, uh, how, well, she is amazingly accomplishing changing the school. This word, as soon as I used it yesterday, I forgot the word. The programs of the school. What is that called? Like a university.
Curriculum.
The curriculum. Thank you. Curriculum. That's not a hard word to remember. Anyway, so I've had enough experiences in universities to know how tight they are,
Mhm.
and she's actually accomplishing changing this curriculum and the music curriculum at the City College in New York, which is amazing. She's like changing, for instance, an MA to an MM
Mhm.
and things like that. But they were also going to add business,
That's good.
social media, so that people don't just, and this is no offense to artists who are simply artists and don't think like that, but it's just so, it's an extra piece of the puzzle to actually know how to think in a business way, making friends with people, and as you've done, joining, or great choice to join Origin Records and pick Neil Sapper and Groove Marketing, and those are choices that you make, and they've obviously worked out really well for you, so it's great.
Yeah. I remember when I was doing my undergraduate at UCSD, just really kind of wishing that they had some sort of business class, music business, or something to like tell us like, okay, how do you make a living after you learn everything that you learn?
Yeah.
And luckily, I was studying with Kamal Kenyatta over there, and he was like the one person who would really, like, in our lessons, he'd talk about how to make a living, and he'd give me gigs when he could give me gigs. And
Great.
I really got that mentoring from him, but I didn't get it from the program. Years
Yeah.
later, I went to San Diego State University, and unfortunately I never took the music business courses. I think I'm not sure if they were more for undergrads or graduates, but um, Marion Leibowitz was teaching them, and so I never got to take them, but I did connect with her. And she ended up starting a booking agency. It started at SDSU. She was just booking student groups to play. She had a grant to get student groups to perform in either like hospitals or veterans homes, or a couple times we played in the county jail for a module of veterans, which was really cool.
Yeah.
But out of that, she grew her agency, which now I'm a part of, and since then the agency's really taken off, and I've learned
Huh.
so much about other aspects of the music industry that I never would have learned had it not been from her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I know Suzanne and I were talking about that because, normally what happens is the teachers will talk about that. And so it's more like you're just getting it from a teacher, and many times it's just in a one-on-one, teacher-student relationship,
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I really enjoyed speaking with Suzanne about it. She's very clear about what is needed,
Mm-hmm.
So
Great.
that's cool. Sorry, I'm getting a little water. Thank you. I usually have my whole setup, coffee, water,
Yeah.
the whole thing. But today was, as you said
different
before,
day.
an improvisational day.
Exactly.
Let's see. I was just looking to see if anybody was saying something, and Dan DeVilla said LP and the Vinyl is a great album with Danny Green.
Awesome. Thank you.
And
It's a fun group.
Taylor said you also collaborated with Anton Schwartz, if I recall.
Yeah, I guess when we met Taylor, we were playing a concert out in San Luis Obispo, and that was a concert we did with Anton. We've played with him, man, a lot actually, in Seattle.
So Anton, he's floated in and out of my life. Remind me who he is and what he does.
He's a saxophonist, and last I spoke with him, he was living in Seattle, but I think he lived in the Bay Area for a while, and he was kind of going back and forth.
Yeah.
Really, really great player, great composer. I guess my wife connected with him first. She was booking me on some tours a while back, and one way she was able to get us various gigs was connecting with musicians in different cities. So he was kind of our ticket into playing at Tula's and a couple other places in Seattle.
Yeah.
And I forget, I think maybe we played with him, trying to remember, it was in San Jose, the jazz club over there. Just blanking on the name right now, but it's a really cool place.
San Jose. Oh yeah. When I was there for the jazz, whatever that was called. Yeah, they were. It happened to be during Jazz Week.
Oh yeah.
So
exactly.
We went to that club. That's an interesting club. It's kind of a cool place to play.
You're talking about the one, the restaurant, right? It's like got an upstairs.
Kind of a restaurant, yeah.
Yeah.
It has, like, the band is in front, right?
Yep. Oh man, I can't believe I'm blanking on the name. Super
cool
place.
Okay.
Anyways, that's Anton.
We forgive you. Yeah. And Anton is a really good business person, right?
Yeah, he's got a good head for that, and
can't remember. I've had dealings with him in and out, over the years and stuff. Mm-hmm. You know me. The first time you and I met was when you came and played, right, at Bar Fedora?
Yeah, DTLA, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Yeah,
that was
I remember
nice.
the food. I remember the the hang. It was good.
Yeah, really. That was a beautiful little room. Yeah. Really beautiful. Yeah. So Roland, my friend who I called before, he's buying your stuff.
Oh, cool.
To put it, he said this hang is bankrupting him because he always comes on and then buys whoever's playing, because there's a lot of really good players out there, isn't there?
Man, you've just, I mean, I was looking through your archives, and it's amazing, and your upcoming hangs. It's an amazing list you've put together.
It's so cool, and it's so great because it's kind of all over the map. Not all over the world, but that's not what I meant by map. It's just people who are well known, people who aren't well known, people are in between. And it's just great because everybody has a really interesting story, and most everybody is putting out such beautiful, great music. And then I get super honored. I mean, I'm honored to speak to you too, and super honored to talk to, like, Dave Liebman last week and Mark Copeland. I mean, wow. it's just incredible to talk with these people and to realize that we are all the same, part of the same tribe, you know, and
Yeah.
bringing something really nice to audiences, whomever they are, you know. Do you have any poetic, spiritual kind of thoughts about your playing, your music? Have you felt over the years that you really want to bring your music to people, make them feel a certain way?
Hmm. I'm not the most poetic or spiritual person, um, but no, I mean, just that the whole experience of playing music and touching people in that way it's important to me.
Yeah.
And I know that, you know, just from people reaching out to me that have been touched by my music, I mean, that always makes me feel so good. You know, when I get a note from somebody that's been going through a hard time and they say that my music helped them through it, man, how cool is that?
Yeah.
And playing in back in the day when we had concerts, you know, just feeling the energy of the room. I mean, there's something about it that it's been fun this year, kind of getting into the whole playing online thing and developing,
Yeah.
and it's different, you know, especially like with people commenting throughout the performance. It's
Yeah.
really nice to feel their presence.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing like just being in a crowded club and, you know, making that, just having that moment together. I think it's really cool and really special.
Yeah. Yeah. I played a gig last Saturday, actually, outdoors
Oh,
in a
okay.
really nice patio area.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the people who wanted to come out came out. And, you know, there's
Yeah.
people who don't want to come out. And
Uh-huh.
it was a really good feeling. And I played the first set, and then I had a jam session.
Oh,
So
okay.
people were super happy. I smiled all night long.
Mm-hmm.
I was tired when I got home because I had been smiling so much.
Was the weather
And
good? I think it's
the
been
weather
kind of
was
warm,
pretty
right?
good. Yeah, it's on the west side, so it's kind of, it gets the ocean breeze at night.
Yeah.
It's not that close to the water, but still, it gets that breeze. So it gets a little cool later in the evening, but it was really quite nice, you know.
Well, cool. I'm
Yeah,
about to do my first. I've done a bunch of these live streams, and lately I've been doing them at Peter Sprague's studio.
yeah,
He's an amazing guitarist for any of
yeah.
you people out there that don't know him, but
And
he has a
then
recording studio.
those concerts are so good.
Yeah, the sound is amazing.
Uh-huh.
He's we were gonna do one like a week ago, I think, and the internet went out. So
That's a little bit of problem. I know he's been through a lot of intense work regarding the internet, and
yeah.
I actually I was at that Pat Metheny one. Remember that one? I don't know
Yeah,
if
I
you
think that
watched it or
one.
whatever, but
That's
yeah.
where he
So
first started having the problems, I think.
yeah, and you just don't know, like today, you know.
Yeah. Uh,
Um, I mean, at
my
least I'm
my
on
attitude.
Zoom. I
Yeah.
used to, you know, in the beginning, I was literally using the iPad instead of Zoom.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was on my computer, and then I had my iPad,
Oh, wow.
and the person was on the iPad. I did it that way for a while until somebody said, you could use Zoom. And
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, and then somebody said, you could use Restream and put it out to Facebook and YouTube. And I said, oh, so yeah, so now today, obviously, I'm going to have a little interesting um, phenomena. And now I have another technical problem I just saw. Um, so let's see, could I use my phone instead? Let me just I would like to play some music, but I
All
just
right.
have to look and see. Cathy Segal. I'm actually looking on YouTube. Oh, here it is. There it is. Okay,
I would
now
like to
can
play
I
some music, but
let
I
me
just have
see.
to look and see.
Okay, let me see if I can just. Can I answer? Chat publicly is Cathy Segal-Garcia. Yes, I can. Okay, so I'm going to hold on one moment, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Gary, you have to come get your computer because it's down. It's losing electricity.
You need it still?
I don't think I need it anymore.
Because I can just keep bringing my power cord.
No, I think I can live without it.
Okay.
Thank you, hon.
My mouse.
Technology. Okay, thank you. All right, so okay, I think I can do this as a on my phone, which I believe I can, and yeah. A little about the current distribution location of the players, please. Current distributed locations of the players. I'm not sure, Don H., what you mean. I really don't know what that means. As soon as Danny gets his jack trip, oh, easy access for duos, you can use that. Oh, hold on. Nikki Butera, this is for you. Danny writes such beautiful music. Would love to hear him talk about his creative process. Is the music in his head before he notates, plays it, or does it begin by sitting at the piano?
Okay, well, hey, Nikki. Nikki's a longtime student of mine and good friend.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, awesome person. Let's see, the music. A lot of times when I'm writing, it just comes out as I'm just improvising on the piano. A lot of times it'll start with an idea. Usually, it's almost always while I'm sitting at the piano. It's maybe there's one song I remember where I got the idea in my head when I was away from the piano and I walked to the piano. But yeah, usually I'll just sit down here and just maybe play whatever chord comes up. That I just made up that idea right there, and then I just try to hear what's next. So that's basically the process. Every now and then I'll sit down and just improvise a whole piece, and like if I feel like the creative energy is there, um, I'll turn on the recorder on my phone and record. Just try to play it again. Like I may have come up with an idea, and I'm cycling through it. Maybe I have like an A section or even a whole AABA.
Yeah.
And I'll record it, and then I'll bring the recording back to the computer, and then I'll just I use a program called Sibelius to notate everything. So at that point, it's just kind of going through what I had improvised, and then fine tuning it into an actual piece.
That's cool. I'm jealous because when you're a good piano player, you can develop, or it's a different process. Me coming up with something, I really do have to hear. Well, I mean, I can sit down at the piano or just sing it or even play it on the flute a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then develop it. But when you have the facility to come up with beautiful sounds, just like you just did, it just adds to I don't know, maybe more of a more enjoyed process, I think.
Yeah, it is super fun just hearing it all come out together. It would be interesting for me. I play some guitar, and I've never used the guitar as a composition tool, but it would be kind of fun to do that as a challenge or try to write something without a piano.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or sometimes I'll start with the piano, and because I'm not really a great piano player, I just can get by and stuff. But so what I come up with, if I start with chords, is very simple usually. So I normally, well, I do everything. I mean, sometimes I'll just come up with a lot of funky stuff that doesn't have a lot of chord changes. But it is nice to start with a melody, and then I can use my hearing, my all these years of depositing information in there. So
Do
yeah.
you record like something to play along to? Like, do you record a first, like maybe the harmony, and then you listen to it as you're coming up with the melody, or how do you do that?
No, I don't record that way. Sometimes I will have an idea, and I'll a melodic idea. Well, actually, it doesn't matter, melodic but it usually comes to it's varied, like you probably, like sometimes I will sit down at the piano, and I'll have like a vamp that's cool, or that's attached to an interesting rhythm, and so I can record that, or then I'll sing something over it and I'll record that, or on the other side, sometimes I'll just sing a melody, or I'll have some kind of an idea for an emotional expression that I want, or sometimes a feeling of tempo, or groove, a certain kind of a groove. And I also
what about lyrics? Do those come like as you're coming up with ideas, or after, or before?
Yeah, that's varied as well. Sometimes all of those, and then sometimes what I find is I'll have a song, I'll have the lyrics, and I'll only have gone up to the bridge, and I can't go any further. It's like, okay, that was my idea, So yeah, but lyrics, interesting. I always tell people, like, when they want me to write lyrics, I always say, well, I just have to say I'm a little poet on the poetic side. I'm not the kind of lyricist that, like, hits you straight down in the middle,
Yeah.
But I find too, I wonder if you do this, like an artist would paint a series, like let's say the Red series, they'd paint like for 2 weeks in red. I find that I write in series. Do you do that?
I mean, my writing style has definitely like changed over chunks of time. So I can look at like what I've written, for one album versus like 2 albums later, and I can definitely hear differences.
Yeah.
But I mean, within each era, I'm probably not old enough to say era, but within each like 2 years
Era of your life.
Era of my life.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I try to go for a whole variety of, more lyrical songs, ballads, really challenging, more virtuosic songs. So yeah, I don't know if I get exactly on a like all orange.
Right. Yeah, I know. I just found that I do. I got some part of me, and what I write is kind of folky. It could go possibly into a play, but it's kind of folky, and that's, some of my background is, I grew up in a folk era as well, and so some of that will come through. And there was this period of time that I wrote a song several songs about my sisters, and kind of an expanded idea. I had 2 sisters who passed away. So, and then when I recorded 2 of those songs with Larry Kuntz and Josh Nelson. And when they played those songs, of course, they came out more of a jazz way, but still they were different. They were different than we did Pensativa. They were different than that song.
Yeah, of course.
But I really loved doing that. Obviously it's the band that plays and makes the songs what they are. Like Paul Motion is a kind of a good example, right? He took like Broadway and, it like there were those records that he had Joe Lovano and guitar player Bill
Frizzell?
Yeah, Bill Frisell and him, and I forget who was on bass. But anyway, they did 2 Broadway records.
Mm-hmm.
How's it going to sound with them? It doesn't matter what the song is. It's all going to have this personality. So
Yeah.
and that's obviously the beautiful thing. And speaking of that, you've had the same trio for a long time, right?
Yeah, we've been we've been together for 11 years, but I don't know if we should say 10 since last year we didn't really play. Does that count? Do we get?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. Well, I know. I'm not sure either.
I
But
don't
that's.
know, but
even 10 years is a long time.
Yeah, yeah. It's been really cool working with the same band for that long.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also fun things about playing with people you've never played with, or all that. But just getting to play with them for so long, I mean, we've definitely like developed chemistry together where we can anticipate what we're doing, and like we play some difficult music, and now it feels pretty easy. Just like we don't need to really rehearse it ever. It's just it's there. So it's fun having that.
Yeah. We should play a little music. I can try and play the music.
Yeah, let's see if it works on yours.
Yeah. So let's see. I'm sharing. I guess I'm sharing the screen. Photos, line, messenger, Skype, Zoom. Okay, so we're screen broadcast. I'm doing this on my iPad, so I'm not really sure. Everything on your screen will be recorded. I'm not sure that this. No, I don't think this is not what I had in mind. So let me.
You can also share like a specific window. Are you're on an iPad right now though?
I'm on an iPad, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think this is going to work.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I could play the music.
I could share mine. The
Okay.
video won't be great, but
now, I will say that the volume of the music that you're playing probably should come down to three-quarter range, and that way it doesn't.
I could try. Let me try a different way.
Okay.
See if when I share it, I have a crazy setup here. But let's see.
As long as
you
you
have
know
a
how to
song in
work.
mind that you wanted me to play?
No, but Taylor was talking about Brazilian because he said he knows that that's been an important part of your style. And can you talk about how incorporating those sounds have influenced your composition process? Can you talk about the Brazil camp? Oh, you go to Brazil camp?
Not since I had kids. So
Oh.
from like 2006 to I think maybe 2011.
Wow.
A number of years.
Wow. Oh yeah, that we should talk about that. But how about playing something Brazilian?
Let's see. Well, what do I have? I'm just looking at the ones I sent you in the email, which none of which are. I've kind of gotten a little further away from the Brazilian thing. So let me do a little digging into the archives. Maybe I'll play the one. Well, I don't have a video for it. I just have.
That's okay.
Audio. Okay, well, I might give me 1 second. I'll
Sure.
find something good.
I'll just while you're looking, I'm just going to say goodbye to Joyce Glasgow and Dawn. Oh, So Don, when he said a little about the current distributed location of the player's place, and he said which rooms. He's probably talking about playing with Peter, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah. We're all in separate rooms when we play over there.
Yeah. And Taylor had a question, where did the inspiration to include a string quartet in One Day It Will Come from?
Well, let's see. I actually first did it on the previous album, just on 3 songs. That previous album was called Altered Narratives, and I recorded that one in New York, and I had Matt Pearson producing that one. And Matt suggested incorporating strings on a few tracks, so it was kind of like his idea to do that. It was always something that I wanted to do. I'd heard it on like Esperanza Spalding's Chamber Music Society record, and Peter Sprague had done a record with strings, and Bill Evans trio plus symphony, or it's more like symphony orchestra. But just I love classical music, and so like anytime I hear a mix of some classical sounds with jazz, I think it's cool, and I think there's a lot of area to explore when you mix those two worlds together. So that's basically like what sparked my interest.
Yeah, I agree with you. By the way, Taylor said play the merge. Nikki said Lemon Ave.
Oh, okay. Well, Lemon Avenue's a ballad. The merge is definitely more on the Brazilian side. Just gotta, God, I'm just not finding on YouTube a good one for the merge.
Boy, I have a lot of work to do, technical work to do today.
Yeah.
Starting with bringing my computer to my computer guy. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, God, I kind of would rather. I could do the audio of the merge. Maybe that would be the best way.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I have plenty of videos, but not too much of the Brazilian stuff.
Okay.
But I guess if we're gonna do the Brazilian stuff, I should show the one I did with Claudia Villela and Chico Pinheiro, because that one's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So that one, it's a song originally called Searching for the Words, and I was just hoping to get lyrics in Portuguese written for it. And I met Chico Pinheiro at Brazil camp, and we hung out like a couple years in a row there, and then I asked him about if he knew any lyricists, so he connected me with a guy named Rogério Santos, who's a friend of his from Sao Paulo. So Rogério wrote the lyrics for it. He retitled it Quintal da Solidão, which means Garden of Solitude.
Mm-hmm.
And then later when we recorded it, I asked Chico if he would be a guest on there, and I asked Claudia Villela if she would sing on it, and they both agreed, and I was so stoked. So yeah, I'm ready whenever you
okay.
are.
I'm ready.
You hear that?
Yeah.
As palavras sempre dançam no molho da panela sincopada, tem que caber pitada de saudade, água de beber. Um samba se faz assim, receita da intuição, quintal da solidão. as palavras sempre dançam. Vinícius recomenda uma tristeza de enlouquecer. Aldir olha a palavra pra depois dizer. E o Chico, por sua vez, recolhe a poesia do chão. Quintal da solidão. Prato para o poeta em cada nota da minha tradução. Samba de gente bamba, se diz no pé também vai dizer na mão. Se diz no pé também vai dizer na mão. No samba, não sei porquê, as palavras sempre dançam. Vinícius recomenda uma tristeza de enlouquecer. Aldir olha a palavra pra depois dizer. E o Chico, por sua vez, recolhe a poesia do chão. Quintal da solidão. Quintal, quintal da solidão. Quintal da solidão. Quintal, quintal da solidão. Quintal da solidão.
All right, that's it.
Yay! Oh God, that was nice.
Thank you.
And I love your piano groove, and it's really nice, really
thanks,
beautiful.
thanks. Yeah,
I love
so
those things like that separate little line, tu go home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love those. What
Just
are those
makes-
called?
Need,
Are those
need to have
called
those little
anything?
things, little hooks in the composition.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting that the guy who wrote the lyrics released a CD this last year, and he recorded this one with I think it was a guitarist and mandolinist on his album.
Oh.
And they you know they did some different things that they maybe got rid of that, or they got rid of the soli in the middle and had a different intro, but it was so cool to just hear them like take my song and make it their own.
Yeah, that's
Beautiful
really
job with
nice.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Did they have vocals on it or no?
Yeah, the lyricist sang it.
Oh, cool.
Uh-huh.
Love that. You know, I'm friends with Ted Falcon, who lived
yeah, I
in
know
Brazil.
Ted.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So he's sharing this gig with me that I'm doing on the West Side. And so the first week he did, he had his Choro Club come and jam.
Mhm.
And it was wonderful. I was enthralled through the whole thing. And I thought that I might be possibly kind of musically bored after a while because it's, it's like folk music. It's, there's similarities a lot, but I wasn't at all because I started hearing all these different things within it,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's there's a good variety. Even I guess a lot of the choro music is sambas, and it can get tiring hearing like one samba and then another samba and
Yeah,
another. But I mean, they do have like all sorts of other grooves that they can do, and I think just even changing up the groove makes a big difference.
definitely. And the percussionist, I forget his name. He's the older Brazilian percussionist who's very famous in Brazil, but he lives here.
Oh,
Uh,
Carlinhos
yeah.
Pandeiro
So
de Ouro.
he was there, and that was
Cool.
that added to
Man,
it.
he's a party animal. I
I
guess
believe
he
it.
was in the Black Orpheus movie
Yeah,
as a kid.
yeah, isn't that wild, huh?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so the question was, talk about Brazil camp. That was part of the question.
All right. Well, let's see. Like I said, I think I went 5 or 6 times, and
Yeah.
man, just so many great experiences there. The first time it was like I was new with Brazilian music. I had kind of come out of playing a lot of Cuban music, and
Oh,
I always liked Brazilian music, but I didn't quite know how to do it on piano. And Marco Silva is the piano instructor over there, or actually the jazz ensemble director there. And I mean, he showed me so many things that I've taken out of the camp and used in terms of just how to comp for samba or for baião or whatever the style is. I mean, he was very strict about how it had to be played, and it's important to kind of learn the rules. But yeah, I mean, in addition to that, just they used to have these. I don't know if they still do it, but they had these late night jam sessions that would go till like 3 a.m, like
right.
down in the creek.
Yeah.
And Michael Gold set up this whole. He called it the jazz tent, and man, those were just so epic. Like just so much fun. Everyone just partying and jamming, and there's like a whole book of tunes. I didn't know most of the music, so if I sat in, I'd have to read the charts, and it was scary at first. But as I kept going back, I started learning the tunes and bringing in some of my own tunes, and kind of started feeling more like, not like an outsider, but kind of like more on the inside of what was going on there.
Yeah.
Another amazing experience there is just getting to hang out and listen to Ginga, who's just a brilliant, beautiful composer, guitarist. And he had a class that was always like at this bakery across the street from the campsite. And first day he'd always tell everybody he's not a teacher, and he just played his songs. People learn them. I would be sitting there frantically, like transcribing them on paper as he was playing them. I can play a little guitar, but and I've worked on it a lot this last year, since I haven't been doing a ton of other stuff. But like I never brought a guitar to Brazil camp and never really tried to learn what he was doing on guitar. But I did want to write it down and translate it over to piano. And then like the last year I went there, I brought my keyboard and set it up there and played with him. So that was a lot of fun. Another really fun class was it was given by the drummer Marcio Bahia, who's one of my 2 favorite Brazilian drummers.
Yeah.
And it was him and Scott Thompson, bassist, and they called it the cozinha, like the kitchen. It was like a rhythm section class. So I set up my keyboard there and got to jam with them every day, and that was awesome. Hanging with Chico Pinheiro, always fun. Edu Ribeiro, another one of my favorite Brazilian drummers, got to do some playing with him there. So man, just so many great experiences. The food is phenomenal.
The
Yeah.
food.
Yeah.
I love that. The food is phenomenal. I've heard that actually. I think I asked somebody else this question and they said that too.
Yeah, just like really healthy food there. They'd always have like a variety of, like a Mediterranean night, Brazilian food night.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, delicious. I miss it. But yeah.
Well, I kept, Stefan Oberhoff.
No, I don't think I do.
Maybe he started going after you stopped. He's a pianist in LA, and he's piano, guitar, singer. He has a Brazilian group, and played with Melissa Manchester and the singer. Anyway, he's played with a bunch of people. He has a small studio, that he kind of does everything in, which is really great. He gets a great sound. In fact, he produced Barbra Streisand's son
Cool.
last few years ago. And anyway, he's a big Brazilian camp guy, and he just every year he would say, "Cathy, you have to go to Brazil camp." And I was always like, "I know, I have to go, and I just have to do it." All these things were kind of, the summer, the family does stuff, and the money, if you're going to the Jazz Connect, in January, I mean, how much money can you spend, You know what I mean? You kind of, you don't want to spend too much, So anyway, but if I should say, when they do it again, I'm going to go.
You should. It's fun.
Yeah.
So I definitely had like a very long phase of, I mean, I still love Brazilian music and I listen to it still, but I'm not quite as obsessed as I once was. And, back then, like all my composing was very like Brazilian jazz oriented. And I think that's, I've gotten a little bit more away from it, but I still kind of carry some of a lot of the things that I've learned from all my years of studying Brazilian music. So even if I'm not writing sambas anymore or whatever, styles, like there's still elements of the grooves that go into my music, or elements of the harmony or the melodies that I've heard from all the different artists. And so it's still very much a part of me.
Yeah. Who were your mentors as you were coming up? Who did you, whether or not they were live or with you or not, did you have particular people that you just admired so much that kind of made you have the aha moments?
Yeah, well, there was definitely Kamel Kenyatta, who, was like very active as a mentor. It wasn't just like I was thought he was great and wanted to be like him. Like he really, like he was the person that I could call anytime I had a question about anything, and he turned me on to a lot of different artists. A lot of I studied with him for about 3 years, and a lot of the lessons were just listening to music together. And even just kind of seeing the way he appreciates music was inspiring to me, and really got me even more into music and more passionate about kind of paying that forward to my students. But I mentioned earlier in our hang about come out just giving me music business advice. He's telling me like you can make a living as a musician, and at that time I was in college and kind of not knowing if like what I would do. Like, would I have to go the academic route so that I have a steady paycheck, or do I want to be a working musician, or do I need to learn music technology so I can open up a recording studio. So he was the guy for that. Another mentor person I would consider is Rick Helzer, who I know was on your show several months ago. And
Rick Helzer, what a guy he is.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess the whole community here in San Diego, as you probably saw when you were doing the interview with him, like everyone studied with him, and yeah, I learned so much from him about jazz theory and writing, everything. So, and again, like so much of what I learned from him, I've been able to use with my own teaching. So
yeah. Where do you teach?
Right now I'm just teaching privately on Zoom right here where I'm sitting. I do teach at Grossmont College. I'm not teaching this semester, but I teach a piano class over there. That's a community college. And then I don't know if you know Rob Thorson. He's a bassist here in San Diego.
I know his name. Rob Thornston, right? Thorsten.
Yeah.
I feel like I know his name.
Yeah, so he and I for the last maybe like 8 years or maybe even more, we've been doing this program through the Athenaeum Music and Arts Library, which is a program that it's a grant that allows us to go into elementary schools throughout San Diego, and it's
cool.
like a 1-hour clinic about jazz. About what is jazz, some basic music, what is melody, harmony, rhythm. We get into improvisation, we get into a little of the history of jazz, we perform for the kids. So that's another teaching thing I do quite often.
Cool. Very cool.
Trying to get it going again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, Taylor has another question. Taylor must be in heaven now that I'm really focused on YouTube instead of Facebook, because he gets on YouTube.
Okay.
I remember you telling me your transcribing process, which I found interesting. You transcribed a lot of Fred Hirsch's music, which ended up in a book. How has learning his music broadened your solo playing?
Man, all these good
I know
questions here.
He always asks good questions. Well, first, tell me about the transcribing process. I'm curious about that.
Oh, all right. Well, I think I can just
show me something.
Pop in I could just show you. I think that's probably would be interesting for people to just kind of see it in action a little bit. I won't do more than like. I don't want to.
Just a little bit, a wee bit.
Just to kind of like show how the process works, because
sure
I can do that. But I'm just trying to find an MP3. I don't know if there's any sort of copyright issues, so I could just throw in like one of mine. You could do the one that we just heard.
Yeah, sometimes YouTube or Facebook will take me down for copyright issues. I wish they would just charge me for licensing fee,
That would be cool.
They haven't.
Yeah, or sometimes they'll just like slap a bunch of commercials on your stuff, right?
Yep.
No, not cool. Okay, so let's see how I can do this. I'll share the screen.
Okay.
I think the sound is shared. Basically, I use a program called Transcribe, which is here, and let's see. Yeah, so I can like. Just trying to find a good spot. Okay, so that's what I do. I find the play spot, right? I can start and stop it in the same spot. If I need to, I can slow it down like this.
Oh,
Which
cool.
is super helpful on those faster ones.
Yeah.
This program up here is Sibelius, so I'll just, without spending much time, just set up the score. Don't worry about, I think it's in C anyways, so I don't need to worry about a key signature. And, you know, I just go one phrase at a time, like. Okay, so I hear it like 1 and 2. So I'll just kind of hear. I have perfect pitch, so I like as soon as I hear the notes, I know what they are. And then I forget what was next. So okay, one more time. Something like that. So basically, it's like one phrase at a time. That's the gist of how I transcribe. Could have probably answered that.
I see. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I was just thinking. I've been thinking of getting back into transcribing.
It's fun.
And yeah, it is. It's really so helpful and wonderful. And the transcribe. What is it? Transcribe. That sounds like a good. That's really an easy tool. And I might do it by hand first and then put it into Sibelius, just because there's something about the hand by hand that I really like, and possibly I don't know. What do you think? Do you think by hand or writing it Sibelius goes into you differently?
You know, it's been so many years since I've done it by hand, because I get like my hands, I get a lot of hand pain if I write, especially if I'm writing checks.
Me too.
I just wrote my checks for taxes, so that's on my mind. But I don't know. For me, I do so much transcribing and arranging for people that between teaching and arranging, I mean, those are like the main two things I've been doing this year. And some of the arranging is transcribing, like the Fred Hirsch project that Taylor mentioned. So I don't know. For me, I have a keyboard like right down here. You can't see it, but you know, I just play what I hear into the keyboard, and all I have to do on the program is select the rhythms. You know, if it's an eighth note or a dotted or whatever. And I've gotten so fast at doing that I can, you know, not quite play in real time and do it, but pretty quickly. So
yeah, you know, I probably need to learn the shortcuts, because I know very few shortcuts, and as usual, I jury rig a lot of stuff, as you saw today in the beginning. But I mean, so I know I can make something work, and once I get something working, like Sibelius, I'll do it, and every now and then I'll learn something new that makes it more direct and shorter. But I bet if I really actually took a course in Sibelius, you know, and really,
you know, at the beginning of the pandemic, I was doing these lessons on Facebook, just kind of a
varied
service
thing
to the community.
Yeah.
And I think the last one that I did was a whole like starting tutorial on Sibelius. So I could send you the link if you want, and put all my shortcuts in there. And
oh my gosh, that would be fun, because I do use Sibelius. I mostly I put my originals in, and sometimes just clean up. I have huge book of old charts, so I can sometimes update stuff. And also, especially with the pandemic, my keys are really varied. Like I used to sing I love you in C, and now I have to sing it in B flat, something like that. So, and Sibelius, of course, makes it so easy. It's just, so transcribe. Roland was asking the program name and cost, but Taylor said it's about $30. Transcribe.
Yeah, and I mean, I bought it like years ago, and I keep getting the updates whenever they send them, and they never charged anything else. I've transferred it from one computer to another, and it's cool. $30 and you're set.
Yeah, that's great. And
So yeah, Taylor was asking about what I've taken from the Fred Hirsch stuff and put in. Man, Fred. I mean, Fred's among my favorite pianists, and I love especially his solo piano playing.
yeah, beautiful player.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great players that have their own thing on solo piano, and I think Fred definitely has carved out his own sound, and he just has his own language. A lot of it is very counterpoint driven. You know, he has like 3 or 4 separate voices happening at all times, and so you know, I've always been interested in getting better at doing that, and I think just through transcribing a lot of his music, it's really helped me kind of open my ears to where those sounds are.
Yeah,
A lot of it is also just kind of finding these like opposing direction or something like something on the inside of like here's your bass, here's your melody, and just being able to find motion within, like in the middle. I always do it on All the Things You Are, like. So you know, I've learned a lot just from transcribing his music, and it's. I think the really fun thing is just finding these ugly dissonances and knowing how to move them like a half step or a whole step to resolve them. And they're all over the place. You just have to find them.
it's great. My husband's taking away part of my jury rigging.
Uh-oh.
Oh, do you need this?
No, I think I'm okay. Did you see my message?
Yeah, I'll call Jerry.
Okay, thank you. So gotta get that computer.
Yeah.
So actually, I was just going to ask you, would you mind playing a standard song just off the top of your head? Maybe not something that you've been working on, but just something
Yeah, just
like
on
in
piano.
the moment. Yeah, and just so we can experience how, you know, your playing would be in the moment.
In the moment. Okay. I gotta think of one.
Yay!
All right.
Thank
Sure you
you.
recognize that
Yeah.
as Giant Steps.
Yeah, it's such a pretty song, actually.
It is, yeah. A couple months ago, I was just decided to play it like a ballad at the piano and just had so much fun doing that and realized, I mean, it's fun burning on it too, but
Yeah,
there's a lot of intricate harmony there, a lot you can do.
yeah. Roland says he loves the contrapuntal expansions, and Taylor said that E flat chromaticism going to the A minor was lush.
Cool.
Yeah, I feel like I heard something that you did on a. Did you do an arrangement of like Days of Wine and Roses?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I thought I might have heard
Maybe,
that.
well, no, I don't know. On
Yeah.
the LP and the vinyl CD, I did a lot of arranging. More pop songs though. We did like Stevie Wonder's "I Can't Help It," 100 Ways.
Love that song.
Yeah, "Fool on the Hill." That was a fun one.
Yeah.
And then some of the arrangements were by Leonard. He did one of what's it called? Oh man, Wonderwall. He did Wonderwall, and then the group we came up with like an arrangement for Life on Mars, David Bowie.
Oh, cool.
And we did two standards. My One and Only Love was one of them. That's actually what when you mentioned Days of Wine and Roses, my mind went to that one.
Right.
But yeah, not much of an arrangement. More like whatever happens in the moment happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes that's what we need, you know. I mean, sometimes that it works beautifully. I was listening to a singer, Elizabeth Contamanu, who's a French jazz singer, and she's been around for a long time. She's really, you know, what I call the real thing. Yeah. And she did a recording with John Scofield, and they had different songs, but then I think it was the engineer or the producer said, can you do Sunny? You know, Sunny, da, 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 da. So they just did it. And first take was it, and it was, it's great. Again, because it's the players, their points of view, both their abilities, but their points of view, really, isn't it? I mean, of course they have to be good, and they have to have done their job, getting their skill together, but it's really a point of view.
Yeah, I really think though it's important having that balance of worked out arrangements that kind of tell a story, retell the song if it's an arrangement, or even a composition that's like really worked out, with different sections and cool arrangement. And then it's so fun just having the opposite of just improv, like letting the arrangement unfold in the moment. Gotta have both.
Yeah, it's beautiful. What do you? I know you've played with your trio. Do you get a chance to play with other people as well, or do you pretty much always use your trio?
For my own projects, I almost exclusively use my trio. We've done a lot of collaborating with various guests over the years.
Yeah.
We mentioned Anton.
Yeah.
We've played with Chico Pinheiro in New York.
Yeah.
I think maybe once in San Diego. We've had Peter Sprague over here, and just all sorts of different people throughout the years. Different singers too. I'm just remembering. Do you know Tekka?
Yes.
Yeah, we've done a couple shows with her in Santa Barbara.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's fun. It's different thing for us, It's more her music, but fun just kind of bringing our stuff into her world and her world into our world. But yeah, as far as like other like I've been super fortunate to play a lot with Peter on his projects, And I guess like if there was one other person who I would look at as a mentor, it would definitely be Peter Sprague, who I just really admire his music. I love his playing, and just as a person, he's just
Yeah.
amazing person.
He is an amazing person. One time, he, there's different peoples over the years that say one sentence that sticks with you forever,
Mhm.
And I remember asking him, God, it must have been, I don't know how long ago, 30 years ago, something like that. But I asked him how he dealt with putting out different styles of music and then marketing himself to people,
Mhm.
because I always felt like at that point, I felt like, well, if I do standards, then when I start doing my more modern stuff, those people probably aren't going to really enjoy it if they come, they're going to be ticked off and, all that stuff. And I asked him about that, and I forget exactly what he said, but basically, he said, it's all me, it's all me. So it's fine.
Yeah.
It's all fine, and that really lightened my load at the time, because that was really worrying me at the time.
Mhm. Yeah, I totally understand what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, God, he and I have had a lot of conversations this year too, just about like, uh, music, the pandemic, like what life will be like after, what do we want to be doing? And I mean, I've spent a lot of time thinking about, I mean, over the years, I've invested a lot in recording albums and putting I mean, getting like publicity teams together and like putting tours together, getting on the road, and it's a lot of time. And this year I've really been forced to evaluate, like, what do I want to be doing with my time? Like, is it bringing me joy to be on the road all the time, or am I happier at home?
And you have two
Do I
small
need to be?
children, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, so
How
I
old
mean,
are they?
they're 7 and 9.
Yeah, and it's a crucial age to be around,
It is. And I mean, I guess I was never on the road like for months at a time. It was always like a week long tour here and another week long tour there. So it wasn't anything too crazy, but um I love all the playing on the road, but like all that other downtime, like sitting around waiting for the gig, eating, and then going back and then eating again. And you know, a lot of it's kind of work, and it's like time away from my family. And so like, do I need to be doing that? Not really. Don't have
Yeah.
to. But
Yeah.
so I don't know. I mean, I'm excited to get back into it as well. Like I miss the concerts a lot, and I love the experiences of just hanging out with my friends in the band on the road and seeing places. So I don't know. I guess a lot of it's just finding that balance. And then the same with like gigging. Now I've survived a year without gigging, so now I know I can take what gigs I want to do and not take the ones I don't want to do.
That's interesting, isn't
It's
it?
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's kind of yeah, I've been talking over the year, I guess, about that kind of thing. It when you're when you're doing something for a long time and then you stop, and that's a perfect example. You actually you go through this. It's almost like a surprise. Oh, I was, I was, I was in this, and that's what I was doing. Oh, I mean, there's lots of different things related to that. Oh, but like,
Yeah.
oh, I shouldn't have been doing that, or oh, I could, oh, I was doing that, or oh, I can move on, or various things like that. But then now you're outside of the box, and now you can choose something totally different, and I think that's a really interesting aspect of what this you know, um, forced moment of stopping what you're doing for everybody, for most everybody. I mean, have been people who have been working, but it's like a forced sabbatical, right?
Yeah.
And wow, it's pretty cool. That's a really great aspect. And that's
Yeah, I
actually,
agree.
not to get, off into the whole surreal life that's happening now, but that is why I personally feel hopeful. I have to believe that experience that has covered the globe has shifted people's awarenesses, and I believe that my awareness affects you and yours affects me. So I feel kind of positive about the changes that are coming. I know there's a lot of scary things, both politically and medically, and just what the friggin' what is going on? What is going to happen? But
Yeah.
I do have a lot of faith and hopeful expectation on what is coming, including the way gigs are going to, how they're going to unfold and how venues are going to unfold. I think that it's just going to be some new things,
Yeah.
So
there's definitely a will to make it happen. So, yeah, one way or another, like we will get back to all that.
we will
music together.
survive.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's such a horrible, sad time too that we've gone through this last year. I feel very fortunate. My family's and like my extended families stayed healthy, but I feel horrible. I mean, I feel like every other day I'm sending condolences to people on Facebook, and a lot of pain out there. So I always feel bad about talking about the good parts of this last year, but there definitely have been, some, at least creatively for me. Just doing, like, figuring out how to do remote recording, and or I've done a couple recordings, just kind of layering myself on different instruments, and like I never would have done that if life was going on as it were.
Totally true. Yeah.
And
I
even
still
like outside, I've learned gardening more. I've got more into
fun.
cooking. I've been like giving myself haircuts, and just learning how to do things that like I never would have thought how to do.
I know. And I know that feeling too, like feeling fortunate and blessed. But then you feel kind of like a little guilty that you're feeling fortunate and blessed, but it's okay. It's okay to feel like, yeah, it's a, and it's kind of like that old airplane thing, if your plane is going down and you have your kid next to you, you don't put the mask on them first, you put it on you first.
Yeah.
And then you can help them better. So I think it's kind of like that too,
Yeah, for sure.
Taylor has another question.
All right. Taylor, for keeping the questions going.
He's cool. And Roland had a question. Roland, you're cracking me up. I don't know if you read what you wrote. He said, this is what he literally said. He said, there's a Brazilian female singer who lives in Santa Barbara, Tesla's friend, whose name escapes me. Really, really great singer. Any thoughts? The reason why that cracks me up is because he has a Tesla and he's in love with his Tesla. Oh. So you're talking about Tekka, I'm assuming. And I don't know. I mean, besides Tekka and Claudia, I don't know anybody up there. Do you, Danny?
In Santa Barbara?
Yeah, or near Santa Barbara.
No.
I mean, well, Claudia lives in Carmel, so we don't know the answer to that. And would you say that your teaching philosophy has changed consistently since you've been teaching over Zoom throughout the pandemic?
My teaching philosophy now is there's no music business left, so don't bother with don't bother with lessons.
Oh my
No,
God, that's not your
that's
teaching
dark.
philosophy.
No, it's not at all. Music's awesome. Um, I don't think I don't know if I have like an actual teaching philosophy per se, but I mean I've just had to adapt teaching to be able to do it on Zoom, and kind of like I was demonstrating transcribing on here earlier. I
Yeah,
can share the screen, and it's actually been really convenient because before, like, we'd be downstairs at my piano, and so, like, if I wanted to write stuff out or demonstrate what it looks like in notation, it would take forever. I'm a slow
yeah.
writer and my hands hurt, like I said, when I do that. So now it's just so immediate to just send information like that. Or I have so many handouts I've created already over the years. So I can pull up a handout and share the screen, and it's right there. I can play music on my keyboard here. I can play MP3. So all the technology is just right there. And the only thing that sucks is not being able to play together at the same time.
Yeah, I
I
know.
have
That is
done
the only thing.
a lot of times, like, if we're working on, let's say, like, Take the A Train's like a good beginning one that I like. Um, like I'll still like trade eights with students, and
Yeah,
they're not gonna hit like right on beat one, and I won't hit on beat one from what they're hearing, but
yeah,
still, like, I can say, okay, like, work on fourths.
yeah,
They could hear that and they can play something back, bouncing those ideas, or think rhythmically now, or think about playing like block chord melodies, or whatever
yeah,
information I'm trying to get out there. Like, we can still find a way to do it.
yeah. You know, what's interesting to me is that I've recently gotten together on Zoom with a few piano players, and I don't even understand this. I think it's because they're going through like a preamp. But so when they play,
Mm-hmm.
I can sing. While I'm singing, I can still hear them playing, so there's no cutout of sound. And I, believe it or not, I hear everything in the right time. So
Oh, yeah.
I can fool around and I can have a great time, but they are
They
not
can't.
hearing me.
No, because
Like,
they hear you're playing along to what you're hearing, but
yeah,
then they're hearing you a second later.
yeah. So
Yeah.
boy, our life really would have been different if that had been able to be accomplished. I know Jack Tripp is supposed to be kind of good, and Jam Kazam is supposed to be kind of good.
Oh, yeah. This
I
trombone player, Michael Desson, has
Yeah.
kind of figured out how to play. He's been doing it for years. And he's figured out the technology to actually be able to play like pretty much fine, like with other people, as long as they're geographically, like,
within like 500 miles or something.
yeah, something like that. I mean, at some point, even the speed of light would be too slow to, like, really, you'd notice some delay.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
toward the
is he
beginning,
using Jack Tripp or Jam Kazam?
maybe, I forget. That sounds vaguely familiar.
I think Jack Tripp has been actually around for a while, and it's been
whatever he's doing, it was like way too above my head and above my bad internet upload speed at my house.
Okay. Something weird happened on my screen. Interesting. Who knows, man? I'm not sure. Anyway, it still should be happening, but we're actually getting to a close, and so I am going to. Okay, something. Don't ask. Today is a weird technical day. I hope. I hope the technical gods will cure my computer so I don't have to buy a new one.
Technical Tuesday.
And then I guess I'm going to have to call all the technical people and ask them why I'm not even coming on to Facebook. So that's a whole other technical issue.
Fun.
So anyway, I would like to thank you for spending these 2 hours. And I'm sorry, that the technical thing wasn't more together. But I think we had a pretty good time.
It was a great hang. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's
Yeah, nice to
been
talk
a
to
lot
you.
of fun, and you know, just so thankful that you're doing these. Also thankful that I have so many hours of interviews to go through now, and I can get away from all the politics on the podcasts and just kind of listen to something uplifting and about music. So yeah,
So
thank you.
true. I agree with you. I can
Yeah.
only take so much politics, and then I have to detour.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, cool, Cathy.
Thanks, Danny. Thanks very much. And ladies and gentlemen, if all goes well, which at least I think I'll be able to do the same as I did today. I have the great Cuban drummer, Jimmy Brantley, on tomorrow. And he is one of the best drummers I've ever heard. He's really great. And that's tomorrow. And then again, I hope my everything's working, because what I normally do Thursday through Sunday is I will share from the archives, and I'm going to have to think about that if my computer's not working by then. We'll see how well I actually jury rig. I always say it. I jury rig well, but I don't know, that's really stretching my brain. So, but then next week I'm going to have Lila Bialy, great singer. Rio Sakiri. Do you know her, Danny?
No, I don't.
She's a booking person in New York, and she books for this one club or organization. She's been doing it a long time, and a lot of people work with her and respect her. And then actually Brian Charette, pianist and organist, he's coming on the following Wednesday, so that'll be really fun. So again, I thank you so much, and take care, stay safe. My regards to your family, and have a great day.
Thanks so much, Cathy. Really good to hang with you.
Okay, Danny.
Okay,
Good
bye.
luck.